students. Today we are going to see the fourth unit, first subtopic, adaptation strategy, option in various sectors like water, agriculture, infrastructure, and settlement, including coastal zones. And also, we are going to see the second subtopic, okay, of Unit 4, human health, tourism, and transport energy. Coming to the adaptation strategies and option in various sectors, okay, the climate change is, as we know, is a predominantly need to be addressed. Okay, so what are the strategies we need to adapt, okay, in order to control this effect, the change in climate? The climate change affects all sectors like water, agriculture, and infrastructure. So it may pollute because of the precipitation. You may ask how the climate change will take. Okay, because of the increase in carbon dioxide production that will reflect back the heat to the earth atmosphere. Because of that, the climate change occurs. So when it precipitates, for example, in the atmosphere, we have SOx, NOx, okay, and carbon monoxide. Okay, so what will happen when the precipitate comes? It will absorb this type of gases and form a, or like what you call nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and it may also leads to a acid rain. When this type of precipitation occurs on the surface seawater, obviously that will render the characteristics of the water. Okay, so that in turn will affect the agriculture because the agriculture is dependent on the water resources as we all aware of it. And coming to the infrastructure, for monuments are the infrastructure like what is called the old heritage buildings and things like that, infrastructure like idols and things, okay, that may also affected because of the acid rain. Okay, so just imagine because of the climate change, what are the factors which affect? Okay, it includes not only inclusive of this one, it also there are other factors also may get affected. Okay, what the predominantly what we are going to discuss about here is water, agriculture, and infrastructure. Coming to the adaptation ensures survival and sustainability under changing climates. So adaptation. So when we try to adapt to a situation, actually usually I used to say think globally and adapt locally as long as we want to survive in your professional life or say for any other thing. Okay, not only for the professional life. Okay, so adaptation is a very predominant factor thing need to be considered whenever because of the human activities this is occurring, how to adapt to the situation at the same time how to mitigate that one. Okay, that is a very important thing. Focus on sectoral strategies and practical examples. What do you mean by sectoral strategies? Okay, so I will explain what is sectoral strategies now. Sectoral strategies have considered plans designed to support and develop specific economic sectors to improve productivity, competitiveness, and growth. These strategies can also focus on issues like job creation, sustainability, and integration into global markets. Application range from national economic policy to corporate investment, where the goal is to achieve the sector specific objectives through targeted support, infrastructure development, and policy adjustments. The application of goals coming to the economic development to foster sectoral transformation and stimulate growth within key sectors that have significant links to other parts of the economy. Coming to the sustainability and climate change, to address climate change by promoting mitigation and adaptation strategies such as develop climate resilient crop varieties in agriculture. Climate resilient crop varieties means, for example, let's say in Middle East. Okay, so we already know actually is a uh, very hot region where you don't find water. So you can also make it greenery or you can develop crops actually depending on the crops which requires less amount of water. Okay, and it will go in that higher temperature. Okay, so we need to develop it in such a way that a lot of R&Ds were going on to find out develop a crops which is a climate resilient crop. Okay, so please try to understand the thing. And coming to the investment management, okay, in a corporate context, sector strategies can be cost used by investors to adjust portfolios based on economic cycles. Policy alignment to align specific sector development with the broader national goals such as sustainable development goals. So we know already sustainable development goals, 17 sustainable development goals, okay, by United Nations. Okay, so coming to the adaptation, here on the slide, the adaptation ensures survival and sustainability under changing climates, focus on sectoral strategies and practice examples, highlight principles, challenges and long-term implications, emphasizes integration of adaptation and mitigation. So adaptation and mitigation is very important parameter to control this type of climate change. Coming to the learning objective of today's lecture, understand why adaptation is necessary even if emission stabilize. Learn key principles of effective adaptation planning. Okay, how to go about effective adaptation planning. Explore adaptation strategies. Okay, in water, agriculture, and infrastructure sectors. Examine examples of adaptation practices globally. Identify major barriers and limit to adaptation. Develop awareness about integrating adaptation with policy and governance. So the policy is supposed to be made. The strategy need to be taken. Okay, how to overcome this actually this climate change. Okay, so adaptation and mitigation is very important factor need to be considered. The imperative for adaptation. Climate change impacts are long term and unavoidable. So the not only the climate change will increase the climate of this so that it will not comfort for the human, it also reduce melt the snow which is present in the Arctic and Antarctic ocean. Because of that, the low lying countries may also submerge. Okay, so the impact are long term and unavoidable. Okay, so you could not be able to control if you don't control by means of having a policy and try to mitigate the effects because of the controlling the what you call the uh, anthropogenic activities. Okay, and then try to go for a afforestation, deforestation, afforestation, agroforestry, reforestation, avoid deforestation. Okay, so coming to the global warming and sea level rise will continue for centuries. Freshwater resources are under serious threat. As I told you, when this greenhouse gas emission will be present, okay, what will happen, it will ruin the characteristic of the even the fresh water. We know already two-thirds of the earth is occupied by water, even though we could not able to use it because of the salinity which is present in the sea water. Almost 33 to 35% of sea water is salt content, sodium chloride. Okay, so the freshwater resources need to be predominantly protected. Otherwise, we will be having a scarcity of water. Okay, even though the people have been doing desalination process in order to recover the water from the sea water. I mean, by removing the salt, or they just treat the treated water. Used water by wastewater treatment. Okay, but however, the freshwater resources need to be maintained. Okay, otherwise, what will happen? If again a cost, the fresh water may come. You can use it. They can get it from a river. Okay, or store it in a dam and then try to use it, or from pond, lake. Okay, then you can be able to use it. This need to be protected. Otherwise, this resources is affected. Or obviously, we could not able to overcome. I mean, we can go. We can't go for alternative. Even if you go for alternative, obviously it will cost more. Okay, that is the very thing. So we need to protect the things. So whatever the things which we are having, we need to protect. For example, we have some wealth. So rather than earning and then having more and more wealth, protecting our health is very important. Wealth is very important, right? In the similar way, the fresh water, whatever the resources which are available, okay, on the earth, that need to be protected, and then what you call, and then we need to go for the next alternative. Okay, when there is a depletion or when there is a drought. Okay, during some regions. Okay, so this you need to think of, and think what do you call it? Adaptation is very important parameter. Adaptation reduces vulnerability and enhances resilience. So when you try to adapt to a situation, okay, so that the resilience of yourself is getting increased, enhances resilience. So obviously you could able to withstand. Okay, so you can regain back to the original position. Resilience means urgent need for proactive measures at local and global levels, prevents ecosystem collapse and sustains human livelihoods. Coming to the principles of effective adaptation, integration, adaptation management, contextual design, stakeholder involvement, robustness, and equity. Coming to the integration, consider multiple sectors: energy, food, health, and nature. Adaptive measurement, use flexible, scenario-based strategies, contextual design aligned with local development and policy context, stakeholder involvement, engage communities in decision making. So we need to bring all the thing, all the people, and try to come up with the stakeholder involvement because each and everyone will be contributing to the things. Okay, so for example, in uh, academic curriculum, I mean, what do you call it, in our educational system, we will have a stakeholder feedback. We will get it. We won't get only from the student or faculty, or we also get it from the what do you call it, outsiders like alumni, and also we get the from the industry people, outside of the outside our the faculty from the outside of the institution, and we'll try to get the feedback from everyone about even for a curriculum or how to develop the process. So the stakeholder involvement is very important. Okay, so engage communities in decision making. So all their input has been taken out and we will come out with a very very meaningful policy. Okay, our strategy need to be maintained. Robustness. Choose options effective under various climate outcomes. Equity. Ensure benefits reach vulnerable and low income population. So it's supposed to be a benefit for everyone. So ensure benefits that reach vulnerable and low income population, those who are affected. So why I'm trying to say this one, for example, if you go to the Sipcat area near Kadlur or something, okay, the emission which is come from the industry could not able, the people residing very close to the industrial area could not able to live peaceful, I mean what you call it, inhale a good oxygen. Okay, just imagine this is getting polluted. It also affects the region which has been residing very close to the industrial area, and these gases they have been keep on inhaling. What will happen? They may get the cancer, or they may get affected with the lung cancer, or may be affected with what you call breathing issues, or they will have having a skin cancers and this type of diseases. Okay, maybe vulnerable. Okay, for the people, I mean the people who are residing very close to the industrial area. So what are the things we need to consider? So when they emit the thing that is supposed to be to a limit standard value, okay, so it should not affect the things that that's why the pollution control board comes into picture. Okay, so coming to the water sector adaptation, water systems are highly sensitive to climate variation. As we just now see, when the rain comes and then it becomes acid and it connect to the water resources, obviously the people will be get affected when they try to drink that type of water. Okay, adaptation ensures water supply reliability during dry and wet periods. So we know already. Okay, so during the dry period, that means during the summer season, we don't have much water. We will find it out. Okay, so even the municipal water will be scarcity may be found. Okay, so we don't. But rainy season, enormous amount of water will affect these things actually. Okay, so if you not properly maintain a stormwater drainage and things like that. Okay, obviously it's not used again. Okay, so just think of all these things. Adaptation ensures water supply reliability during dry and wet periods based on integrated water resources management principles. What is integrated water resource management principles? Very important point. Okay, I'll explain to you what is a integrated water resources management. Integrated water resource management, okay, is a coordinated approach to managing water and land and related resources. Okay, integrated water resource management is a coordinated approach to managing water, land, and related resources to achieve social, economic, and environmental sustainability. It considers all water uses like drinking, agriculture, industry, and ecosystem together to make decisions that benefit the whole system, acknowledging that water resources are interconnected and finite. The goal is to balance human needs with ecosystem health, leading to more effective and sustainable water management. What are the key principles? One is a key holistic approach. Integrated water resource management treats water as a part of interconnected system rather than isolation. Cross-sectional consideration. Okay, it promotes cooperation and integrated planning among different sectors and stakeholders that use or manage water resources. Coming to social, economic, and environmental balance, it seeks to meet human needs for water while also protecting ecosystem for future generation. Coming to the sustainability, the long-term goal is sustainable development, ensuring that water resources are available for current and future use. Risk management, it includes assessing and mitigating risk from factors like climate change, population and stress. Why it is needed? Why the integrated water resource management is needed? Competition for resources, okay, ecosystem health, interconnectedness and climate change. Okay, coming to the competitive for resources, growing demand from different users put pressure on limited water resources. Ecosystem health, recognizing the need to protect aquatic ecosystem from pollution and overuse. Interconnectedness, understanding that surface water, groundwater and coastal waters are all linked and action in one area affect others. Climate change, addressing increasing risk of drought and flood exacerbated by climate change. How it will be implemented? Okay, so the stakeholder engagement, policy and planning, data and transparency, capacity building and financing. So I just would like to explain the integrated water resource management, how it has been implemented in different sectors. The first one is stakeholder engagement, involving various groups in decision making processes. The second point, policy and planning, developing coordinated policies and plans for water management at different scales. And third point, data and transparency, improving data collection, sharing and transparency to support informed decisions. Capacity building, strengthening technical and human capacity within water management institutions. And the last point, the fifth point, financing, securing dedicated funding for sustainable water management incentives. So the integrated water resource management is a coordinated approach to managing water, land and related resources to achieve social, economic and environmental sustainability. So water resource management. So this is not only applicable for climate change. Okay, is also implemented in every sectors, even every industries. Integrated water resource management. They will try to not discharge any water out of the plant, zero discharge, and try to integrate the water resources inside the plant. Okay, this is also integrated water resource management for the sustainability. So we have seen the integrated water resource management as well as its principles includes both the demand side and supply side strategies requires coordination across administrative, economic and environmental systems aimed to maintain balance between water use and ecosystem health. Coming to the demand side strategies, aim to reduce consumption and increase efficiency, water recycling and reuse, reduce freshwater demand, economic incentives, use pricing and metering to promote conservation, water trading. So water trading, what do you mean by water trading? So the water trading is the selling by buying it. Okay, it's like a trade. Okay, water trading, encourage efficient allocation through water markets. Okay, let's say the river comes from a origin from China, which enters into the Nepal and things like that. They construct the dam. Okay, so they will be construct the dam and store the water for their own agriculture purpose or for their fertility. Okay, on that particular region. So water trading, they may sell the water actually to the other countries. Okay, so even though it's a natural thing, okay, natural thing, okay, they will have a what do you call it, agreement. Okay, like Singapore, Malaysia. So my Singapore doesn't don't have any water resources by nature. Okay, so they will try to get a water actually from Malaysia. Okay, nowadays they have a new water wastewater treatment plant and they have a desalination and try to reduce the consumption of water from the other resources like from other countries. So the water trading encourage efficient allocation through water markets, leak reduction, fix municipal and irrigation leaks. Okay, so and then behavioral change, encourage public awareness and responsible water use. So behavioral change, for example, if somebody says it's a treated water, okay, it can be used as a potable water. Just see in China, Singapore, what the new water plant. Okay, what they are doing it. Okay, they are treating the even the overflow of the septic tank water along with the drainage. They treat everything and make it into pure drinkable water because of the technology. Okay, but the mentality of the mindset of the people, if you think actually even they says the treated water is potable standard, it does not contain any of the contaminants. Okay, but we don't have the what is called guts to drink that type of water because our mindset has fixed already. This is a drainage or this is a wastewater which was treated by the technology. but the people have started to adapt because they don't have the resources. Okay, so this type of behavioral change supposed to occur. Okay, encourage public awareness and responsible water use and behavioral change. For example, the pipe is on. Okay, they don't close it. Nowadays, in metro, they will have a sensor. Okay, we go to the what do you call the airport or even what do you call the bus stand. Okay, like you will find a sensor to control the water because they will open the tap and they will not close it. Okay, so the behavioral change is supposed to be, I mean, water should not be spoiled. If there is a leak or if there is water is open, the tap is open unnecessarily, water is flowing, we need to stop it. This behavioral change is supposed to be occur. Encourage public awareness and responsible water use. So is a demand side strategy. Coming to the supply side strategy, focus on increasing on diversifying water availability, storage and abstraction, build reservoirs and dams to store runoff. So as I told you just now, so we need to store the water. Okay, we should not waste the water and then send the water to the sea. So during the rainy season, most of the times the region has been flooded and it will go to the unnecessary, it will mix with the drainage and it will go to the sea water. Okay, what is the use of it? Okay, there is no use. Okay, so this when there is in the Western countries, when you see there is a rainfall, the rainwater will be collected in the stormwater drainage. Okay, they will have a separate line for the stormwater collection. Okay, similarly, the people who are constructing new houses, okay, sometimes they will have this type of water conservation. Okay, when the rain comes, they will store that type of water and they put it underneath the earth, having a rainwater harvesting and things like that. Okay, so why I'm trying to say, so we should not waste these things, resources. Okay, so storage and abstraction, build reservoirs and dams to store runoff, non-conventional sources, desalination, wastewater reuse in arid areas. Okay, in a region. Okay, so where you will find water is not surplus. Water harvesting, capture rainwater through catchment and ponds, interbasin transfers, move water from surplus to deficit region, environmental consideration, avoid over extraction and habitat loss. Coming to the adapting to water streams and quality issues. Okay, flood management, expand flood plains, build reservoirs, develop yearly warning systems, drought management, resilience, water quality and health protection. Adapting to water streams and quality issues. Okay, drought management, improve irrigation scheduling and water storage, very important. Okay, because during the June month, the people will say actually the Kaveri Dam, I mean the river which I mean the Kaveri River, okay, has been opened through the dam. Okay, because of the fact, what you call agriculture purpose. So drought management, even it is during the rainy season, okay, we will get an enormous amount of water. Okay, will come from the Karnataka and then store it in a dam and then properly use it. Okay, for the agriculture purpose. Resilience. Okay, allow controlled flooding to reduce long-term damage. Okay, so for example, controlled flooding. So you know actually when the dam is fully over control and the intake of the water to the dam is very high. Okay, when it is almost a certain level, they will try to open it because the inflow is more. At a stretch, they will we could not able to consider the inflow. Okay, the inflow may be enormous. For example, okay, how do you control if the dam is already full? It may collapse the dam itself. Okay, allow controlled flooding to reduce the long-term damage. That's what they mean here. Resilience, adapting to water streams and quality issues. Water quality, treat wastewater before reuse to prevent disease spread. Health protection, maintain strict water quality guidelines and monitoring. Coming to the agriculture sector, agriculture is highly climate sensitive and crucial for food security. Climate change affects crop yield, water availability, and soil fertility. Okay, climate change affects crop yield. Let's say if I can see, give an example. Some plants or crops or even what do you call it, the flowers like rose or something, it doesn't require more water. Okay, but at the same time, I'm sorry, it should not be flooded. Okay, but actually, little amount of water and little sun is enough for the rose. Okay, so it should be developed actually. It grow only in the mountain region. You cannot able to grow near flat surface. Okay, so because there is what do you call it? Sunrise, sunrise will be, I mean, sun radiation will be more and the water may be stagnant and will not grow. Okay, so some crops will develop only in certain region because of the climate. Climate change affects crop yield, water availability, and soil fertility. Okay, adaptation strategy. Soil fertility. I can highlight the things. Some of the what you call the uh, vegetables or things will grow only in that particular soil. Okay, for example, red soil. Red soil will have a lot of potatoes and all. I mean, underneath the thing. Okay, it will grow. The grow. It will go. It will have its different soil based on the soil characteristics. Only it will grow. Okay, the cashew nut. It will not go actually in every part of the land. Okay, only certain regions it will grow. So it depends on the soil condition. Coming to the adaptation strategies, reduce yield loss and stabilize production. Two types of adaptation, autonomous and planned. What is autonomous? Farmer led responses, farm level, okay, planned policy level, okay, government supported programs. Okay, two types of adaptation, essential for protecting smallholder farmers and rural economics. And coming to the farm level, autonomous adaptation, crop management, water management, soil conservation, forecasting, livestock and forestry, and diversification. Use drought and heat resistant varieties, water management, adapt efficient irrigation systems, soil conservation, retain crop residues to maintain soil moisture, forecasting, use seasonal climate information for planning. Coming to the livestock and forestry, modify grazing patterns and fire control. Okay, so livestock and forestry modify the grazing patterns and fire control. Grazing patterns. Okay, so the land is, I mean, it grows. Okay, livestock is the intense cow, that type of livestock they be. Okay, so diversification, grow multiple crops to spread risk. Coming to the policy and the institutional adaptation, infrastructure investment, policy reform, institutional support, research and development, capacity building, and financial support. Here, all the factors are very important. Research and development is also very important. Okay, so infrastructure investment, expand irrigation and water efficient system, policy reform, revise land tenure and introduce fair water pricing, and institutional support, strengthen coordination between agriculture and environmental sectors, research and development, develop climate resilient crops and livestock. So the people have been started to develop a climate resilient crops. As I told you in the Middle East, okay. So based on the climate, they will produce, they will develop a crop, so that will help you to absorb the carbon dioxide and then try to reduce the global warming. Okay, so develop the climate resilient crops. Okay, based on that particular climate, it will grow. Even when I see there are some, imagine the northern part of Russia. Okay, so the climate is very cold. Is around, if you go minus 45 degrees Celsius. There are also the crops are there. They will grow in that particular freezing things. Okay, so that's all naturally available. Okay, we also can do a research and development and try to develop this type of climate resilient crops and then grow in that particular climatic region. Okay, so that it could be able to withstand that particular climatic region and it will form a, try to reduce the greenhouse emissions. Okay, carbon footprint. Capacity building, train farmers on new technologies and practices. Financial support, provide subsidies on insurance for climate losses. Coming to the sustainable agriculture practices, combine adaptation with climate mitigation, reduce tillage, cover crops, crop rotation, agroforestry, organic methods. Reduce tillage, prevent soil erosion and improve carbon storage. Cover crops, maintain soil fertility and moisture. Crop rotation, improve soil health and pest resistance. Agroforestry, integrate trees with crops for microclimate stability. Organic methods, reduce dependence on synthetic fertilizers. Okay, sustainable agriculture. So reduce the dependence of the synthetic fertilizers. What is the effect of fertilizers? Okay, so when we have only nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that will help to grow is well and good. The synthetic will have fertilizer will have a negative effect also. Okay, imagine. Okay, so that's why the people have been going for organic foods. What is organic food? They don't have any type of fertilizer. They will add to the soil. Okay, so they will try to grow in the natural needs. So that will not affect your human health. In fact, okay, that's why the people have been ready to spend a lot of money for getting organic foods. So when you go to the supermarket, okay, when I was working in Malaysia for almost a decade, when I go to the supermarket there, I used to see the organic foods. The organic foods is always very costly because the thing is that it does not have this type of fertilizer, natural fertilizer like cow dung or what do you call the goat. I mean the what do you call the manure of a goat and things like that, they will put that one for as a natural fertilizers, okay, to grow. Okay, that because of that, if you have a synthetic fertilizer like a mango or is cultivated, okay, you don't find any types of microbes. I mean, a small type of insects which are used to present inside the mango and all, right? Even it is very fruit, very tasty. Okay, so that means they don't have any synthetic fertilizer in it. That is indication. Okay, so what I am trying to say is good for health. Okay, build long-term resilience to changing weather patterns, infrastructure and settlements. Infrastructure is vulnerable to flood, drought and storms. Climate change damages road, bridges and housing. Adaptation ensures resilience of cities and rural settlement. Focus areas include transport, energy, water and housing. Requires integrating climate data into engineering standards, prevent economic losses and safeguard lives. Coming to the general infrastructure adaptation, climate smart design, building codes, land use planning, resilient materials, energy efficiency and maintenance. Use projection in planning and construction for the climate smart design. Okay, the people have been nowadays go for a modern city or what do you call it? So this type of infrastructure, use projection in planning and construction. Okay, try to put a lot of green land, so it will absorb the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, reduce the carbon footprint. Okay, the people have been constructing what do you call it, when they construct high-rise building or smart design, smart city and all, they will have this need to be included. It's already included in smart cities. 30% supposed to be a greenery. Okay, that will reduce obviously what do you call it, the carbon footprint. Okay, climate smart cities, building codes, land use planning, okay, resilient materials, energy efficiency and maintenance. Coming to the urban water and wastewater systems, cities face pressure for extreme rainfall and pollution. Decentralized system manage water locally for efficiency, okay, and they separate sewers, distribute stormwater and sewage to prevent overflow. So as I told you, in the Western countries they have a stormwater drainage. Okay, when I was doing my environmental engineering, okay, I know actually how to design a stormwater drainage system. Okay, based on the weather condition or that particular regions. Okay, so there are a lot of factors need to be considered. What is the drainage size supposed to be there? What is the land area? Okay, what are the factors that need to be considered in stormwater drainage? Okay, and they have a standard for everything. Okay, coming to the improved treatment, handle higher volumes safely during storms, reuse programs, safely recycle treated wastewater, infrastructure upgrade, strengthen drainage and pumping stations. Coming to the energy infrastructure adaptation, energy networks are vulnerable to storms and high temperatures, transmission resilience, use underground cabling and stronger poles and cooling systems, adapt power plants to higher temperature, diversification, invest in renewable sources like solar and wind. So as I told you, we rather than from fossil fuel, just try to go for a solar energy or hydropower or wind energy to produce the electricity. Okay, so energy infrastructure adaptation. So we should not depend on only on one sources. Design standards incorporate future climate scenarios, backup systems ensures power reliability during extreme weather events. Okay, so these are the energy infrastructure adaptation. And coming to the coastal zone adaptation, coastal regions face rising sea levels. As I told you, low-lying countries may submerge because of the snow which has been melting in the Arctic and Antarctic Ocean. Soil erosion need to be considered. Okay, I already given an example, soil erosion. Okay, so these are the need to be reduced. Coastal regions face this type of things. How to do this? Forestation, afforestation, all will try to reduce this type of soil erosion. And storm surges, major risk to infrastructure, housing, and freshwater systems. Adaptation aims to reduce, explore, and enhance natural buffers. Requires integration of engineering, ecology, and social planning. Community participation ensures sustainable and accepted solutions, combines production, relocation, and ecosystem conservation. Coming to the coastal adaptation measures, odd production, soft nature-based solution, relocation, integrated coastal zone management, governance, and community involvement. Okay, so please go through it. Okay, the limits and challenges of adaptation, physical limit, economic limit, institutional barriers, cultural barriers, inequality. Coming to the physical limit, natural boundaries, example, drying rivers, glacial loss, economic limits, heat loss of infrastructure like desalination or seawalls, institutional barriers, weak coordination among agencies, cultural barriers, resistance to changing residential resource practices, inequality, poor communities lack funds for adaptation, need for global cooperation, technology and funding support. Coming to the conclusion, okay, for the first part, okay, adaptation is necessary but has limitation. Both adaptation and mitigation must complete each other. Long-term resilience requires inclusive policies and local engagement. Effective adaptation integrates environment, economy and equity. Governments, scientists and communities must collaborate. Building adaptive capacity ensures sustainable development under changing climate. So with this note, I just conclude the first subunit of unit 4. Okay, we will see in the next subtopic in the next lecture. Thank you for your listening. Okay, please try to concentrate on your fact and try to complete the syllabus on time. Okay, I mean we need to say try to complete all the syllabus reading on time. Okay, with this note, I conclude this today's section. Thank you.